That's Pog. Hi, YouTube! So, I just did a marathon of a lot of Metal Gear games just to lead into the hype for Metal Gear Solid Delta because I just love Metal Gear and I will look for any reason to replay games in the franchise. And it is not my first time playing any of these except Peace Walker, and I also played 5 for the first time, and Rising actually, so a few of them. I'm not going to get into the story, I'm just going to keep it brief and share you guys my enjoyment and my experience with these games. I'm just going to touch loosely on them, and if your list is different, congratulations, that's fantastic. Share it down below, I would love to see it. But I will show you guys very briefly what I think about these games and this franchise, because I just played a lot of them, but they're fresh in my mind, and the ones that aren't fresh, I mean, I'll never forget anyway. Like 4 I didn't play, but it's hard to forget. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. So I believe this is the NES Metal Gear, which I have played many times. I played it when I was a kid. We owned it on NES, and even for the time, I absolutely hated this game. I find it impossible to enjoy because the mechanics are extremely annoying, and I do think it's absolutely terrible. I think this is the definition of not fun, and I know it has, I know it's like technically a Metal Gear game, but trust me, this game is atrocious. Anyways, Metal Gear Solid. There's 2 of them. I don't know which one this is. Metal Gear Solid, I think, is one of the best games on PlayStation 1. It is one of the best stealth games in the world. It basically started a whole genre of games, which is the tactical espionage, or I guess, I don't know if it started it, but it definitely perfected it at the time. For the time, the voice acting was absolutely peak, the mechanics were peak, the story was crazy, and on PS1, with all that being said, there was a lot of PS1 games that were like super far ahead of their time, like Resident Evil 2 or Final Fantasy 7. I mean, there's countless ones you can name, but this is Metal Gear, and I think Metal Gear Solid is extremely good. It is aged well, the story is great, the characters are fantastic, the pacing is really good, all the unlockables from beating the game are really cool, the cutscenes are unforgettable, there's so many lines of dialogue that are unforgettable. Yeah, I think it is a solid game. Number 2, Metal Gear Solid Tizzle. I also think all the same things about this game. I still remember when Metal Gear Solid 2 was first coming out and that demo released for the tanker, everyone was so excited about the game, and the hype was crazy for Metal Gear Solid 2. And then the game actually came out and you played as Raiden, and oh my god, people on the internet were absolutely livid. And then, you know, a lot of people never recovered from not playing Snake for a majority of the game, but those who could cope with playing Raiden, which Raiden is so funny. I feel like Raiden's hate for this game in particular, I mean, there's many reasons you can hate it, but how I see it is his voice is just so nerdy and so, like, for lack of a better term, soy boy. And by the way, I have the soy boy pass. I have soy milk in my coffee, so don't come at me. He's very like soy boy style character, but his character growth and his character development takes him from a soy boy to like one of the most badass characters in video game history, as we got to experience in Metal Gear Solid 4 and in Metal Gear Solid Rising. But Metal Gear Solid 2, I just played on European Extreme, and prior to playing on European Extreme, I didn't think much about the boss fights. Like, I thought they were cool, and the music, like one of the best songs ever, Yell Dead Cell, god tier music. But I didn't think much about the fights. You shoot your weapon, they die. But playing European Extreme, it's actually crazy how hard they went on the mechanics of the boss fights in Metal Gear Solid 2. A lot of them are like super high skill, and they're not cheap at all. It's just like, if you're good at fighting them, you will beat them, because there are just, everything is telegraphed in those boss fights in such a way that you can outplay them, even though it seems cheap on European Extreme because you die in like 2 hits. They're so well crafted. Like the Fat Man boss fight fighting all the Metal Gears in a row. Vamp, who in my playthrough I cheesed the Vamp kill. I digress though. Amazing boss fights, really good pacing. I think the tanker maybe staggers on a little too long. The story is very enticing and it is aged super, super well. Like when I beat this game again, especially today, I'm just like shitting my pants that the story is still relevant. Like the meta-analysis and everything. I'm not gonna get into the story because we'll be here too long, but solid game. Again, I love Metal Gear Solid 2. I think it's one of the best games ever made. Oh, and the soundtrack is S+ tier in Metal Gear Solid 2. Like that like GoldenEye, it just, the espionage sounds in that are perfect. Like the soundtrack is unreal. I think it is the best soundtrack in the entire franchise. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. Okay, so this is a remake of Metal Gear Solid, what we just talked about, and remember I talked about how well it is aged. I feel like, so this game has everything great for Metal Gear Solid. It's the same game basically. It tried to do like Resident Evil 1 remake, but up the action a lot and make the set pieces cooler. So this is not peak fiction. And I don't think it's great either. I think it's either major problems or flawed. The things I don't like about Twin Snakes, it's not the over-the-top cutscenes where Snake is running on rockets and stuff like that. It's that they brought back the voice actors and the passion is just completely gone. Which, in my opinion, when I listen to the cutscenes in this, almost done word for word, by the way, it just doesn't hit the same at all. And I think the main offender is Naomi. Every Naomi codec call, she just sounds like she has a gun to her head and she is bored to tears. And that just takes me out of the story. Like it's really hard to focus on the story because I just don't think it's told with the same passion. And the second thing I think makes this game ass is the fucking soundtrack. This game's soundtrack is insanely good. The boss theme, the escape theme as well, and just the music that plays throughout the game is generally enjoyable. The encounter music, the boss stuff, yada yada yada. This, I can't even tell you a single song, and I don't know if you guys in the chat or after the fact of the comments can tell me a single song either, because like, yeah, zoom, there's so much good music in Metal Gear Solid. But Twin Snakes, like, yes, it's still Metal Gear Solid, but man, the sound design and the voice acting, I think took a huge hit. I honestly sort of want to put it here. I almost stopped playing it. And you know what's funny? Just a backstory on Twin Snakes really quick. Before I played this game, I was fighting with chat. I was being a know-it-all piece of shit, and chat's like, no, I don't think you're gonna like it. It's not that good. And then the other people in the chat were like, no, it's fine. You guys are crazy. And I was like, nah, guys, I'm gonna love it. It's Metal Gear. It's like RE1 Remake. I was defending it before I played it, and then I really didn't like it. I think it's still fine, but I consider the voice acting and the soundtrack major problems. Like, soundtrack is one of the most important parts in this franchise, in my opinion, and it's just horrible in this game. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3, in my opinion, is literally one of the best games ever made. I think it is if it's not in the top 10, it's in the top 25 best games ever made. I think everything in this game is good. I think the boss fights are all very cool, unique. The characters are all very cool. The little Easter eggs, like being able to kill the end boss fight all those different ways, being able to trank kill all the bosses and get their costumes, and their costumes have special effects on them when you do it. So you get an extra bonus reward if you take down a boss in the harder way. The backstory on Naked Snake, Ocelot, Ava, and how that all unfolds with the boss and the US government is insanely well done. I think the story of all the games, yes, it might not have the most depth to it, but it is the easiest to understand. And that's such a bonus because the easiest to understand, and it's the first game in canon. So I'm so glad that they made the first game that you should play the easiest one to understand of all of them. Because if you don't understand this one, don't even fucking bother with this one. You know what I mean? Like 2 is so much harder to get. So it's just a great introduction to the franchise. Amazing soundtrack, amazing characters, amazing cutscenes and Easter eggs. Like, I can't sing Metal Gear Solid 3's praises enough. I do truly love this game, and I wrote a list actually years ago, in like, what was it, like 2011, of my top 10 favorite games of all time, and Snake Eater was on there. It's a game that's aged very well with me, and with Delta coming out recently, I distracted myself. I will talk about Delta. I don't think there's much to say about this game. Am I crazy for just putting this also in Peak Fiction at the very end? Because I don't see any major problems with this game. But by the way, optimization and the price of games is not included in this tier list. So the price of Delta, it's too expensive, and I understand that. But I don't think that the changes brought it down to great or flawed. I think the changes are mostly good, in my opinion. And thankfully, I'm not brainwashed by the internet about Delta. It's just my own opinion, because I haven't really read much. I haven't been on like Twitter and stuff. But just to play it safe, I'm going to put it at the bottom of Peak Fiction, because it's still, you know, when you take a masterpiece like this and you remake it, I feel like the best route to take is just upping the graphics and upping the mechanics to a slightly more modern level. And they did that, in my opinion. And I loved playing through Delta. I played through it twice. Once on Extreme and once on European Extreme, where if you get caught, it's over. And both my playthroughs I thoroughly enjoyed. Amazing. I'm like racking my brain to try and think of a negative for Delta besides the price. Oh my god, I'm such a fanboy with everything in S tier. I don't know. Yeah, and I love all the extra stuff too. I love all the extra stuff. Oh, and the extra, like, all the achievements too. They nailed it with the achievements as well. I love farming a lot of those. And the results screen, like the statistics that you can look at, like the details of your playthrough and the details of your overall playthrough of the whole game. Love it. And they copied one thing I was really worried about, where you say some goofy facial animations. Yes, I agree. Some of the facial animations in Delta are goofy, but in the cutscenes that mattered, like Snake looking at the gun, like that Ava gives him, like fanboying over it, they captured those facial animations the best they could. And I feel like they did a good job translating them to a remake. But I love Delta. I love 3. 3 is like absolutely peak. My only, if I were to give a downside to 3, I think 3 has a very slow start, because the first like 2 hours, you're just getting, every 2 steps, you are getting called on the fucking codec, and it is annoying as fuck. But I can ignore that because everything else in the game is amazing. Oh, and the character redesigns I loved as well. So Peace Walker, I played Peace Walker for the first time just a few days ago. I think, in my opinion, it is, I think it's either great or flawed, but enjoyable. I think I'm going to put it here, because I don't think the game does anything necessarily wrong. And I'm sort of giving the game the benefit of the doubt right now, because I didn't play it how it was supposed to be played. Like, if I played this game growing up as a huge Metal Gear Solid fan, and I played it on my PSP like before bed, and I sent out all my troops to the combat training, I micromanaged my other troops in Mother Base, or what was it called? Was it called Mother Base? Oh, this is Portable Ops. Sorry. They look the exact fucking same. Where's Peace Walker? Peace Walker. Oh, I see. Portable Ops. I haven't played that. Yes. If I played it on PSP that was supposed to be played and did all that stuff, I think I would have enjoyed it way more. But I didn't. I just played it on PS3 emulator, the HD version, by the way. And you know what? I went into Peace Walker thinking it was going to be boring and thinking it was going to be a bad game, like just you could tell it's just this sort of portable, like rushed out game. That's what I was assuming. But I was surprised, like the backstory that you get or not necessarily backstory, but the deep dive you get into Big Boss's psyche about how he handled Operation Snake Eater and his relationship with the boss, and getting to explore that further was amazing. I was shocked that that was the story. I couldn't believe that it was going down that route of basically being a direct sequel to Snake Eater. I thought that was incredibly cool. And yeah, I really enjoyed the story a lot more than I thought I would. Now, I think if this game, and yes, this is definitely the original Metal Gear Solid 5, and I am nicer to Peace Walker because I played 5 after it. If you played Peace Walker after 5, I think you would be a lot harsher on this game, because it is basically 5, just not as refined. But yeah, I enjoyed Peace Walker. I do wish they went with didn't do the comic book style cutscenes, but I could see people liking those. I wasn't a huge fan, and if this game ever got remade, some of those cutscenes would be so sick in actual real time, like fully animated. But yeah, I can't say many bad things about Peace Walker. I did really enjoy it. Now, it's not one of my favorite games that I want to replay anytime soon, like these, but it's a great game. Metal Gear Solid 4. So, I know this game gets a lot of hate because it's basically a movie. And I definitely don't think it's I can see it here. I can see it here for sure. I can see it here, honestly. I can see it the very front. But 4, I just thought for me, my biggest gripe with 4 is I didn't like the pacing as much as I wanted to. And I didn't have a problem with the cutscenes per se. But I did feel like a few parts of 4 were a little bit of a slog. And I will say, I do desperately hope that this game gets a remaster, not a remake. This gets ported, an HD port to PC. I still don't know where I'm putting this, but I'm just leaving it here right now. And anyway, I love Old Snake. I do not like what they did with Meryl and Johnny. I wish they explored Old Snake and Meryl's relationship a little more. Personally speaking, I don't like that Meryl, like one of the coolest chicks in video game history, ended up with like Diarrhea Danny fucking Johnny, man. I like it's fine. Like, oh, you know, the nerd gets the cool girl. Like, oh, good look, guys, anyone can get a girl like that. I understand, but I don't like that. I am salty. It'd be like an RE9 if Ada ends up with like fucking Bruce McGilvran from Dead Aim, because he's just like a worse Leon Kennedy. You know, it is not the greatest example, but like I want to see him explore Meryl in more ways than one, and he didn't. Thank you, Spag. The soundtrack I really liked in 4. I loved all the fan service. I know people hate the fan service, but I loved it. I think the final boss fight in Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of my favorite final boss fights in video game history. Like, fist fighting Ocelot, going through all the different games, switching the music and the name of the character on the health bar. That shit is absolutely peak to me. Like that every time if I even watch that on YouTube, it brings a tear to my eye. It is so insanely good. Like legitimately one of my favorite boss fights ever. And the kiss too, the CQC kiss, like just I love that. Oh my god, there are so many good moments in 4. And I even like the ending where they're standing at the grave and all hell breaks. Put on your tin fucking foil hat. I do love how hard they went with the ending. Like the ending is basically a movie. And another thing, I love the stealth camo. I forget what they called it, but that stealth camo system was so insanely cool. It was such a good evolution of Snake Eater, and I absolutely Octo camo. Yeah, it was so cool. I loved it. Like honestly, I'm sorry guys. I'm such a stupid. I can't just put everything in S, can I? But I have to put it here because I do love the game. Like I don't have problem. Like I really don't have problems with the game overall. I do. Like I think it's that good. And I think people that hate it are crazy, honestly. All right. Anyway, moving on. I don't know what this. I don't have a clue what this is. HD collection. I'm not doing that. Boring. I'm not doing that. That's boring. Where's the VR missions? We need to fill up the major problems. Okay, so MGS4 belongs at the bottom there. I said it. Well, that reminds everyone's in touch with our opinion. That reminds me when I was doing my Devil May Cry tier list, and one of the biggest Devil May Cry streamers, Waifu, was in the chat, and I asked him because I put 5 in like S tier or A tier or something, and I was like, what do you guys think? And Waifu said on his list he put it as the worst Devil May Cry game ever made, and I'm like, see guys, everyone has vastly different opinions. Even if you love the franchise and you think like, oh, this is everyone's list, Bach, nah, some people would have 4 at absolutely terrible, and some people would also have Delta at absolutely terrible, and some people would have 2 at absolutely terrible. I think the only one that's consistently loved is Solid. Okay, so Rising. Move. I thought it was awesome. I thought the soundtrack was insanely good. I thought the gameplay, oh my god, and I was bad at the game too. I didn't think it was peak fiction for me. It's not my kind of game, guys. I don't like pure fucking action game. It's not for me. Like, that's not my kind of game. But for action fans, I could tell you, you're gonna put it as peak. Like, it's a really good game, really cool boss fights, and in like the music alone, if let's say the game didn't exist, it was just a soundtrack, but it was rated as a video game, it's already a B. It's already a B. The music alone, even if you hate the game, the soundtrack, guys, go look on YouTube. Some of the fucking songs have like 50 million plus views. That's crazy. That's crazy for just some like offshoot Metal Gear game. It's nuts. But yeah, Metal Gear Rising was cool. All the different weapons, the pacing of the game was very good. It's not too long, but that might be a downside to some people. But I feel like the length was great. I hear there's a lot of replayability, which is cool. And the final boss, like the main antagonist, God, what was his name? What was his name? Nano Machine Son. Yeah, what the hell is his name again? Armstrong. Such a good antagonist. And oh my god, the rants he goes on the final mission, dude, that is just, this game is just meme material. Like, clearly this game has heavily resonated with so many people in the entire world, when it's just some off Metal Gear game that's quoted into oblivion to this day. Insane. But yes, the mechanics in Rising are fun. It's just a good action game. There's not much. I find it hard to talk about like pure action games. Soundtrack was peak. The gameplay was really fun. I hear the hard difficulties like insanely hard, which is great. And being able to skip like phases during boss fights, I find very funny as well, depending on how you play them. But yeah, Rising, I enjoyed the game. I'm trying to think of more to say, but honestly, I don't have much to say about it. I think it's just a great game. So Ground Zeroes. I mean, if we're gonna rate Ground Zeroes, I'd say it's peak. It was insanely good when it came out. Like, Ground Zeroes as a standalone product, I sort of hate that it's on here, because like, you know, if you're rating it before, like, let's say you never play Phantom Pain, you play Ground Zeroes, I mean, it's peak. So I talked about it, but I'm not putting it on the list. I'm just putting it on haven't played, because I just don't think it's like, to me, it's like rating PT in a Silent Hill thing, which I did, I guess. So I don't, yeah, fuck it. Let's just put it at peak. But I rated PT. I can't, I gotta follow my own advice. I don't know. So, Phantom Pain, this might surprise you guys, but a lot of Phantom Pain is for me, but a lot of it is also not for me. I do not like the way the story is represented. By the way, before everyone freaks out at me and the comments after the fact, guys, you want to see, and I've looked, you want to see your average Phantom Pain on a tier list? It's either here or it's either here. So me having it here, if you're thinking in your head, wow, this is not controversial whatsoever. This is the most normie take of all time. This game is absolutely hated by some and absolutely loved by others. That's valid. But the thing about 5 for me is that I don't like how little Big Boss talks. And I know it's because of the story elements that's revealed at the end of the game. One of the things I love about Metal Gear is Snake and is Big Boss, and he may as well not exist in this game. The story revolves around reading the tapes and a couple cool cutscenes. Now, granted, I'm gonna say I didn't beat this entire game. I didn't beat all of Act 2 and all the side missions and listen to all the tapes, so I don't really have a valid opinion on this game. You can write mine off as not existent, so you don't have to leave a comment on it if you don't want to, or listening to the tapes, whatever. I think from a gameplay perspective, absolutely goated. Some of the most fun gameplay I've ever experienced in a game. You can play every mission however the hell you want to play it. You can run in guns a-blazing if you want to, and you can be the stealthiest person on earth, or you can run in, or you could just bomb it with your fucking with your helicopter. You could beat any mission however the hell you want to beat it, and I love that. I also love sending people to outer heaven, like capturing everyone on the Fulton system. Really cool. I love the buddy system as well, being able to choose like D-Buddy, Quiet, the dog, yada yada yada. I think that's very cool. And Quiet, guys, I thought Quiet was Gooner bait, but Quiet ended up being like one of my favorite characters. She was just so fun to use as a buddy. Oh my god. When I started riding the Metal Gears, I was like, or the D-Walker, I was like, I am never switching off this. But then I tried Quiet once and I'm like, okay, actually, never mind. I'm never switching off this. It's so sick. But the Phantom Pain, I do love the gameplay, but the end of Act 1 sort of pissed me off. I think the fight with, or the fight with the the philanthropist, that was sick. I love that shit. Like, but it is also funny to me that that feels like the most advanced Metal Gear, and it's in pre-Metal Gear Solid 1 era, which is extremely confusing. But it is what it is. I get that they gotta make the game still cool somehow. But I really didn't like that the end of Act 1 is just the antagonist giving you a monologue while you're listening to him, and you don't say a single word about anything. You don't say anything to him at all. Like, I really dislike that Big Boss just doesn't talk ever. When he talks, I think the voice acting's fine. I think Kiefer Sutherland did a good job, but he just never talks unless you're listening to a tape, and that sort of got annoying to me. And the music placement in that Skullface Jeep ride, like, what the hell was that shit? I was just sitting there, jaw dropped. No, it's hilarious, sure. It's super funny, but it's definitely sort of immersion breaking. The reason I put Phantom Pain here, though, ultimately, is it's a game I can't see myself revisiting, just because there are too many mechanics for me. It honestly has too much, which I know what you think. What the fuck you talking about? That's awesome. That is awesome for you. I'm so happy for those who like grinding that stuff, and it gives so much replayability. And if you love the game that much, I'm so happy for those who get to play it that much. But for me, when it comes to Metal Gear, I'm just a fan of a more linear experience, as you can see with these. But yeah, that's what I think. Overall, I like Snake Eater the most by far. Snake Eater is the only one that I would put on like my top games of all time list, but I do still love, like, these 3 games have a special place in my heart because I grew up with all 3 of them, and they were each one was revolutionary when it came out for their own way. Now this was sort of more of 2, like in the terms of the gameplay style, but it was just such a solid experience that you could understand on one playthrough that, yeah, I loved it. I feel like a normie though with my list is such a fanboy list, but I still hope you guys can appreciate it. And I do hope that Delta gets more people into the series, because this series is honestly, in my opinion, underrated. I know when you're in like the well of people that talk about the game, it seems like everyone thinks Metal Gear and Kojima are the best thing since sliced bread. But in reality, Metal Gear isn't as huge as I think it should be. And you know, it says peak fiction, but in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to art as a whole, movies, video games, books, whatever else, I don't think Metal Gear is as popular as it should be. Now I'm basically like deep throating the game right now, but I do truly believe that. I think it is a work of art, especially the first 3 games. And I do hope with Delta, my major hope is that it just gets new people into the franchise, and it's the perfect game to do so. This isn't an ad or anything, but if you do want to get into Metal Gear, try Delta. And if you don't like that, I can say you probably won't like the others, because it just gets more complex from this point onward. But it was great though. I love marathoning the games, and I love seeing the passionate fans, and I'm so glad I could do this, because I'll probably never do another Metal Gear Solid marathon again. I don't think there'll be a reason. I like to do marathons when a new game is coming out, and I don't think we're ever going to see a new game. So it was nice finally getting my thoughts out there. But this is what I think in 2025 about Metal Gear. And maybe if I did another list years later, I'd put Ground Zeroes at the ground zero and Metal Gear Solid 4 in the dumpster. I don't know. But as it stands, this is what I think, and I'm happy with this list. I think this is exactly what I envisioned in my head before we started. Woo! I didn't even have to, I did look, if you guys are watching my eyes, I had to glance, but as soon as I seen that huge wiener, I'm like, Germany? Honestly, I think I might go with Germany for once. The glizzies, dude. Germany's at it again. That was close. That was close.